What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about SoundHound. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down what's really moving it today, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So SoundHound is up a absolutely amazing 16.27%, 1362 the low, 1603 the high, and a lot of volume. So 95.5 million shares being traded, 50.2 is the average. Of that volume, most of it is coming from actual institutions, which is always a good thing. And so as you can kind of see, dark pool is full of tons of large transactions. Same goes for secondary market, and a lot of which are buys. There's a couple sells in between, but most of which are buys. So big money is definitely loading the boat. As far as official news from SoundHound today, not all that much. So no news, no SEC filings. So I think over the weekend, a lot of institutions had some time to actually look at SoundHound's phenomenal earnings. So they're kind of buying based on that. And then we did have some new ratings that did come out. So for instance, you had Glenn. The reason why I'm showing you this is somehow through tip ranks, it doesn't actually show Daniel Ives. So normally I like to show this screen because it does show two new ones that came out today. So Lattenberg, Glenn, who has a 51% success rating, upgraded, $16 price target. Then you had HC Wainwright, $18 price target, and that's currently the highest rating for SoundHound. And then you had one posted on, it shows yesterday, but it was essentially Friday, $14 hold. But the reason why I wanted to show you this is because it doesn't have Daniel Ives's upgrade. So it was previously 15, and he did change it to $16. So definitely a lot of upside. You can kind of see a lot of analysts are ranging from roughly around 12 to 87% upside. So a lot of analysts see big things coming. And honestly, there's not really much negatives to bring up associated to SoundHound's most recent earnings. On a macro standpoint, there's not really much coming out today. So it's more of a technical driven day. So I think generally we kind of knew that today was going to be a good day for SoundHound. SoundHound just needed to get above one key level, and that was it. So I'll kind of talk on that near the end of the video, but shorts are returning 1.71 million shares. So it is rather crazy, the fact that going into this week, like SoundHound's short interest is at all-time highs. And I've been kind of covering a lot of different stocks for a while. I have multiple different YouTube channels, and I can honestly say the scenario surrounding SoundHound hasn't really played out. Like, you have very good growth. I think just generally a lot of people had low expectations for SoundHound's earnings. It all was going to come down to the future guidance, but they hit a home run. So triple beat. Shorts being 34.4% of the free float being shorted, even factoring that they're returning roughly around 1.7 million shares right now, is still absolutely crazy. DTC 3.22 days. That does show and signal that shorts are very overextended. And plus, that does factor in SoundHound's average volume in comparison to number of shares being shorted. So interesting stuff. Right now, $1.72 billion are in SoundHound through shorting. So just over this last roughly 3 months, shorts have lost about $700 million. So I guess that deserves a round of applause ultimately. But yeah, I think just given everything in the technicals, they are about to lose a lot more. Some are smart and starting to return, but still there's 125 million shares still left over. But aside from that though, 36 million in calls, 5.16 million in puts. So today is a record for the overall options volume. So again, goes to show that big money is getting into SoundHound and is very optimistic, because 47% of all the options being done today are bullish in nature. From the bulls, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that $16 to $17 range by the end of this week. And then the bears are anticipating for it to be sub $13. And then aside from all that though, on the actual chart with it at 1580, it is trading between this R3 and this R2. So 1516 is going to be a strong support. I don't see that being touched today, possibly with CPI and PPI and the rest of the other inflationary data for the rest of the week. If that comes in negative, maybe you could see that 1516, but For right now, things are really heating up for SoundHound. 1671 is going to be that next strong target slash resistance, and so the bulls that are playing options today feel that it will be above that by the end of this week. And if it is able to kind of stay above that 1671, then anticipate $20 on the horizon. So things, like I said, are pretty much heating up in a good way for SoundHound. No real articles coming out other than just talking on the actual earnings, so nothing really speculative, no new partnerships or whatever else. On the actual chart, things are looking pretty good. So it is above all the key pivotal moving averages because of Friday's nice push higher. It was able to kind of convert that super trend to bullish. So now you have algorithmic trading as well, really giving a certain level of kind of push higher to SoundHound. So that's always a good thing. Stochastic RSI, it is a little bit on the neutral slash high side. So if it does continue on, and if it gets to, let's say, that $16 range, then most likely it will be kind of a little bit overbought. Nothing really wrong with that. A lot of stocks stay overbought for extended periods of time as they kind of correct. That's exactly what happened with SoundHound as well back in December and January when it was really starting to move higher. So I think the setup, pretty much similar to that same time period, is playing out. So you might see that $20 right around the corner. So let me know your viewpoint on SoundHound. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Give yourself a shout out if you have been buying, if you've been selling. What have you been doing with SoundHound? And given now that we have the Q2 earnings, what do you think the next big catalyst is going to be? Obviously, they talked on acquisitions. So do you think that's going to be coming right around the corner in the sometime in Q3 or potentially Q4? What's your general thoughts on that? One thing to take note of, though, I believe it is in September. That's when SoundHound will be added to Daniel Ives's new ETFs that he's going to be launching. So I think that will add a whole new level of liquidity. A lot of institutions buying SoundHound because of that. So of course that could really push it even higher than what it has been. So yeah, definitely fun times are ahead. Let me know your thoughts on SoundHound. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point and bangers. And then also, if you're looking for a lot of this information, I've seen some comments on the kind of analyst ratings and whatever else. Take a look at IBKR. It is completely free. I have a link to them in the description below, but all of this information completely free, and I love using this for kind of YouTube videos. Has a lot of good context. So ownership, sentiment, analyst forecasts, ratings, everything that you ever need. It's pretty easy and free, which is kind of the best dollar value. So with all that said, appreciate all of you watching.